For the first part of this reteach, we are going to be looking at just the basics of the coordinate plane, so locations and identifying ordered pairs from the coordinate plane. So, couple things to note. Just a reminder that your x-axis is the horizontal axis and your y-axis is the vertical axis. If you would like to help yourself a little bit here, you can note that as you move to the right, your values are positive, or on the y-axis, as you move up, your values are positive. Versus, as you move to the left, on the x-axis, your values are negative, or as you move down, your values go negative. So, remember for ordered pairs, it goes alphabetically, x, comma, y. So for x, if it's positive, that's to the right. If it's negative, that's to the left. For y, it's positive if you go up, it's negative if you go down. And then the different locations. So our quadrants starts up here where they're both positive. This is quadrant 1. Then we go counterclockwise. So over here is quadrant 2. Then we go down here. This is quadrant 3. All the way over here is quadrant 4. So let's go ahead and look at these. For point A, so first thing, x, the first number, is right or left. So A is to the right of our origin. We're always starting from this main point here. It's 1, 2, 3 to the right. Right is positive, so it's positive 3. Then we go up or down. It is 1, 2 up, which up is positive. Where is it located? It's in this quadrant right here, which is quadrant 1. All right, point B is a little hard to see, so I'm going to outline it here. Again, we go right or left first. We start with the x. It is to the left, which means it is negative. It's 1, 2 to the left, so 2 negative. Then it is up, which is positive. It's 1, 2, 3 up, so positive 3. And it is located in this quadrant, which is quadrant 2. For C, point C is over here. We start left or right. It's to the right. Right is positive. It's 1, 2 to the right. And then it's either up or down. This one is down. Down is negative. It's 1, 2 down. This quadrant right here is quadrant 4. For D, over here, we go right or left. Starting at the origin, this one is to the left. Left is negative. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. So negative 4. And then it's either up or down. This one is down. 1, 2, 3 down. So down, remember, is negative. It's down 3, so it's negative 3. This is located in quadrant 3. For E, since if we're starting at the origin here, we start going right or left. This point did not move anywhere to the right or anywhere to the left, which means this first value is 0. Now, it did move up or down. It moved up. Up means positive. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the last one, that shouldn't say 4, that should say F. Point F, kind of hard to see, but it's right here. Starting at the origin, we went to the right. Remember that right is positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right. And then we're on this line here, so it didn't go anywhere up or down, which means the second value is 0. For both of these, they are not in a quadrant because, like, if we look at E, it looks like it's in between Q1 and Q2. If we look at F, it looks like it's in between Q1 and Q4. So for point E, it is on this line. What is this line? It is the y-axis. For point F, it is on this line. What is this line? That line is the x-axis. So now what we're going to do here is we are going to name the quadrant with values that aren't on the grid. So we use the grid to help us, but we're going to find the values that aren't on it. So I'm still going to highlight again, remembering that as we go up, it's positive. As we go to the right, it's positive. As we go to the left, it's positive. Negative. As we go down, it's negative. So I'm going to write those same reminders that I wrote up there. So it goes x, comma, y, positive is to the right, negative is to the left, positive is up, negative is down. And then I'm going to list my quadrants. Again, we start in the top right where they're both positive. That's quadrant 1, go counterclockwise. Quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So what I'm going to do here is, since I kind of color coordinated here, green as positive, pink as negative, I'm going to go through and highlight my negatives and my positives. So I have a negative here, or negatives, 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 negatives. And then I'm going to highlight my other ones, positive values, green. So that might help you visualize a little bit better where it needs to go. So looking at this first one, again, the first value is telling us right or left. So a negative means we're going to the left. The second value tells us up or down. Positive tells us we're going up. That would put our point somewhere in quadrant 2. This next one, the first point tells us right or left. Since it's negative, that means it's going to the left. So I'm just going to kind of put my hand over here. Then the next point tells us up or down. Since it's negative, negative goes down. And you'll notice it's in the quadrant that has both of them highlighted pink for the negatives. This is quadrant 3. Next one, 2. So that first one tells us right or left. 2 is positive. Positive goes to the right. And then the next one tells us up or down. Positive tells us up. So we're going up, which makes sense. This quadrant has them in both green, right and up. This is quadrant 1. Number 4. The first number tells us right or left. Negative tells us to the left. So I'm going to put my hand over here. The second one tells us up or down. Positive means up. So we are over here where we have the pink and the green. That is quadrant 2. This one, starting with 24, the first number tells us right or left. Positive says go to the right. The second number tells us up or down. Negative tells us go down. So we are in this quadrant right here where we have green and pink. That is quadrant 4. And then number 6, positive. So the first one tells us right or left. Positive means go to the right. The second one tells us up or down. Negative tells us to go down. That leaves us here in quadrant 4. All right, so that was just looking at the coordinate plane. Now let's look at moving around the coordinate plane. Ginger went for a walk in Chicago along the streets that run horizontal or vertical on the grid. She started at the bean, which is at -2, +1. It is labeled B. Then she walked to Navy Pier at 8:1. It is labeled N. How many blocks is the bean from Navy Pier? So we have them on here. Maybe it's hard to see from the printing. We have B and we have N, okay? So all that I'm looking at, the points were plotted for us. We are just going to count this distance between the 2 points. So just be careful when you're going from point to point. So I'm going to start from 1, and I'm just going to kind of do loops as I get to each line. So it goes over once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, 10 total loops. So it is 10 blocks. The other thing that you could see is this one is at 2 to the left. This one is at 8 to the right on the same line. 2 plus 8 equals 10. One more like that. Tony walked home from school along streets that run horizontal or vertical on the grid. He started at his school, which is at 6-3, labeled here. And then he walked home to 6-5, labeled right here. How many blocks is his school from his house? So again, we're on the same line, so it's easy to count. Just be careful as you're doing those loops. So I'm starting from one of these, and I'm doing a loop to each line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You could also look at this and see that S is 3 above the line. H is at 5 below, which 3 plus 5 equals 8.